Hello.
Hi, welcome to the episode number
6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Oh my gosh, already 6. What are we talking about today?
Today, as we mentioned at the end of our previous episode, if you recall, that was such a long time ago, we talked about, we just threw a word out there,
A word.
the pipette.
The pipette.
La
Yes,
pipette.
the pipette. It's again sounding a bit sciencey.
It is. I mean, it's something I was using in my chemistry classes.
That's also the first time I learned about it in science class, or as I was calling it, gwyddoniaeth.
But what did you call it?
In Wales, science is gwyddoniaeth.
Does that have anything to do with Knights of Gwyddoniaeth by Muse? Or is that not the title of that song?
No, it's something different. But yeah, the pipette, or specifically the role of water in whiskey.
Yeah, water and whiskey can be at a distillery. You can
Oh,
dilute
yeah, okay.
in your glass, right?
Yeah.
Dropping some
What
drops in your glass.
indeed? Because essentially, what you're doing is diluting it, right?
But when you say diluting, it has a bad connotation. Like if you dilute your
It
whiskey,
does.
you've ruined it.
It
And
does.
that's not really what we're trying to do. We're not trying to ruin it. We're trying to enhance it.
No, you're absolutely right. Definitely has a
Negative.
and that's what we're here to talk about. When, if, should you add water to your whiskey?
Yeah, and why?
Yeah.
How would you do that? Because if you add an ice cube to your
No,
whiskey,
no,
you're essentially adding
no,
water.
no. You're not adding water. You're adding an ocean.
That's a key point for today. You just want to add a few drops, and that's why we talked about a pipette, where you can actually dose the amount of water that you put in your glass.
Yeah, and I think specifically as well, it depends on what whiskey are you drinking.
Yes.
Because obviously, if it's a single malt at 40%, I mean, it's already kind of pretty light. Maybe you don't really need. It's not gonna bring anything to that whiskey. But if you have something more 100 proof, 57%, 60%,
Yes.
then definitely, at least also, it's going to take the edge off.
Exactly. That's maybe one of the primary purposes of adding water. You want to tame that burning sensation from the ethanol, from the alcohol.
Yeah, that's right.
That's not all that you want to get. You want to get underneath that, what's lying beneath.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, the whiskey has been, as we talked about in the previous episode, fermented with great care, distilled at even more care with all the temperature controls.
And then matured with a lot of care.
And then matured in goodness knows what cask for how many years. For years. So absolutely, even if it's cask strength and 63%, there's a lot of flavor in there to be unlocked. But that strength, sometimes it is difficult to get past that first initial burn.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have something that will break the surface tension.
Yeah. And that's what's one purpose. And another one is just you can open up your whiskey.
Yeah.
And you're gonna unleash some flavors that would not have happened, or maybe not as in such a potent way, or with the same intensity as if you hadn't added the water that will bring out.
Okay, so why do we use a tool like a pipette that is quite common in if you go to a whiskey bar, or whiskey shop or distillery, you're going to get kind of pipettes on sale. Why do we use a pipette instead of just pouring some water in from the tap?
For dosing, right?
Or a spoon, a teaspoon?
Yeah. You can use a teaspoon, but if you always use the same one, and if you know how much water it contains, and you're able to do a third of a teaspoon, or half a teaspoon, or a full teaspoon, but it's much easier with a pipette.
I think the best reason is that you can taste it without any water. Okay, it's going to be nice, but maybe a little bit fierce. And then you can start with one drop.
Gradually.
Yes, and you can really just dip your toe in.
Yeah.
And get to the point where you feel like the whiskey has opened up to a point where you're really enjoying it. Yeah. And no more.
And not risk overdoing it, because if you overdo it, you can't go back. It's too much water, it's ruined.
Is there anything more sad than a dram of whiskey that has just been...
It's pathetic.
Not diluted, but polluted. But no, it's true. So you can really start with the one drop. I remember actually at your house we were trying a special bottle, I'm not going to mention what it is, but you advised me beforehand that 8 drops was the optimum. And I kind of started with 1, I got to 4, and then I went to 8, and you were right. It was like that was the perfect level.
At least, at least for me, that was the
but you were right.
count, and we have a similar pattern.
But similarly, I still went 1 drop, like 3, 4, and I was like, okay, I'll try the 8. But and everyone is different.
Yeah, and what happens when you add water? Why can only a few drops have such an impact?
We talked in the episode about peat, about all the different phenols involved, and one of them was a phenol that is only sensed with aroma, so you don't taste anything. So guaiacol and syringol, they're the reverse. One, you smell only, you don't smell it, but you get it in the nose, and one only in the taste. So the ones that only exist in the nose, those are going to get really blocked if because the compounds are going to bind to the ethanol, I think. So you need something to break those apart to really release them into the nose.
Yeah, yes. I can't say much more. That's what I've read as well. Like this guaiacol will tend to
guaiacol. That's it. Yeah.
Guaiacol to, I don't know, lump things together. The concept of surface to air, which will improve or reduce depending on the action of water in your whiskey. It's getting too complicated for us. It's the idea, at least from what I get, that you are going to break some molecules and allow some parts of it, some things that we're clinging onto them to release into your drink. This is why we talk about opening up.
And it's true, you do open it up. It's not diluting it only. It really does release those flavors into the nose or into the palate. Mm-hmm. And like you said, it's a chemical reaction. Science again.
I mean, we're scientists. We're chemists.
Oh yeah, we should have put our white jackets this time again. But no, I think definitely it's for those stronger whiskies that can hold it.
So yes, typically if you have, say you have in your collection, you have a 45-year-old single malt that you've been keeping yourself for a long time and you want to drink. And you also have, I don't know, a 6-year-old, young, petulant, feisty whiskey, waiting for you. And say, well, so you will tend to use less water in your older age whiskey because it's already been through those years of maturation. Like about 45 years, doesn't have to be 45, but if it's over 20, 25, it will already have benefited from the smoothing process of being in the cask for so long that it doesn't need the water to help.
And also, if it's matured that long, a lot of the alcohol will have evaporated as well.
Yes, and the interaction with the wood would have played some role. It won't hurt if you add a drop, but you probably will only add a drop to that one versus maybe 8 or more to a very young and feisty whiskey, especially if it's a cask strength one or
that's a good point.
High ABV.
The older the whiskey, absolutely, it's going to be more delicate.
Be gentle.
Be gentle. Be gentle.
Can't fly up it.
That's right. And with ice.
Without ice, don't do it.
Yeah, please don't.
I mean, we do have on our logo people drinking whiskey with ice. Huge.
It's my fault. I didn't change the logo. He did make better logos, and I forgot to change it. Yes, sorry. That one's me. Okay, so.
Do you have anything else to say about that? We're done with the pipette, right? I think that's it. I don't have anything else.
No, I mean, I think we covered it. It's really the role of water interacting with whiskey.
Yeah.
And pipette is a tool to control that. So baby steps.
We hope our listeners will start using.
Yeah, and you can pick one up. Okay, you get the nice glass ones. Costs £3 or whatever currency, like not much. The price of a coffee. You can get a nice glass one, or you can get like a pack of 10 for 1 unit of currency, and it's plastic. Disposable. But no, I mean, you can get a nice glass one.
And also, you want to use good quality water. You don't want to use super hard water or.
Yeah, I use water that comes out of the tap.
Yeah, sometimes that's all we have. But if you have access to better quality water, that maybe have a batch special, set aside for your whiskey tasting sessions.
Special mineral water for whiskey.
Exactly, mineral or distilled water or something, that's going to be really pure and not risk bringing together with it some impurities or whatever it may be.
That's a very good point.
But we introduced a new segment last week.
We did. The news.
Bring us the news.
So it's my turn on the news. Okay. Distillery. New distillery that I've discovered. Not necessarily new. I think it's pronounced Aberystwyth. And apologies because I'm Welsh. Aberystwyth is a very common word for place names. It means like mouth of. Aberystwyth is the mouth of the River Tower. I don't know how they pronounce it.
Probably the same.
I don't know how they pronounce it in Scotland.
But it's the same word, probably, right?
Possibly, because it all comes from Prydanig. At Aberystwyth, new distillery, farm distillery in Scotland, they are the only or the first distillery in Scotland in over 200 years to use rye grain. Firstly, this is very cool. So, like some distilleries, you get like the whatever, sherry forward bottle, then like, I don't know, another one and another one. And you're not really sure what is the signature of that distillery? What is their signature profile? So this one, amazing branding, clear, bold branding, the original, in bold lettering on the bottle. And the fact that it's, using rye grain as well as barley, very cool.
As a mix, it's rye and barley.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, there's another bottle called the PX. Again, big, bold, clear branding. And what they do is they take the original and then they finish it in ex-sherry casks. And then there's another one, the peated. Again, they go back to the original and they finish that in a barrel that's had peated whiskey. But they use the original as like a foundation for the other two. And I think that's really cool. But that's not the coolest part. The coolest part is there's a single malt maturing that is being released this summer. And you can order a bottle for, I think it's £300, which is, first release, single malt, rye grain, 200 years.
100% rye, this one. Can you say single malt even if it's rye? Rye and also
I think you can. But the cool thing is that that's not the main point. If you want to spend £3,600, and I know you do, they will send you, over a period of time, 9 bottles. So you'll have the first single malt, 10 years. You'll have then numerous ones at 10, 11, 12, and finally an 18-year-old. Now, it's not clear if one is going to have 2 bottles at 10, 2 bottles at 11.
Yeah, because in total you get 9, right?
Yeah, in total you get 9. But that set of 9 is available to purchase, and it's only 500 sets. But it's kind of cool. It's a cool idea.
It's a cool idea, yeah, definitely.
That's not the coolest point. There is another one. It's called the Wild One. Now, the website doesn't, if you're there, Aberystwyth, reach out, DM, collab, let's talk. Because the website doesn't do a great job of explaining this. But the Wild One comes in a hand-blown glass bottle, £6,000. Oh, that's not the coolest point. There's only 100 available. You could buy the lot, 3.2 million.
Something you'll never drink because that's.
Well, I will never drink it. No, I think that's clear.
Is there one called the special one?
No, but maybe there will be. But it's just such a cool concept. Firstly, the whiskies they have on sale now, huge branding, all based around an original signature profile using rye grain, completely different. The others, the PX, obviously sherry forward, peated, big branding, but clear. They take the original and just finish it differently. It's very clear. And then you've got the single malt story. The first one, you can buy just one bottle. It's expensive, but it's unique. Or you can do this thing of a collection where you buy them and you get sent them over like 8 years, or you get the ridiculous one. But yeah, something cool I found this week.
Definitely.
So,
did you say where they are located? Which?
I think they're Highland, but I need to check that because
how do you spell the name of the distillery?
Aberystwyth, Aberiki. But again, this is a news segment. It's not something that we really research into. It's just something kind of that we discover. But yeah, I'm really excited to try one bottle. Well, what's next?
I hope you're going to be excited to try the whiskey I'm bringing today. And actually, there's 2 bottles, but only one of those bottles is is a single malt. Look.
Oh,
In this Craig Space Side. But this one, the particularity is that it has been finished in former French Baz Armagnac barrels.
Yeah.
Armagnac is actually delicious. I have taken a trip to the region. I visited some distilleries. I bought some bottles, of course. And so I'm bringing you also a bottle of Armagnac.
Oh,
So we can tell, you and I, if we can detect that this whiskey has been finished in X barrels of that. This is Delors Baz Armagnac,
so
one of my favorites.
this is cool. We might need some more glasses.
We'll have to make sure we really finish off the first one. Or maybe if you have a few drops remaining, it's not going to be so bad. So we're going to start with the Armagnac.
We're going to start with the Armagnac. Okay. This is actually my first Armagnac experience.
Really?
Yeah.
Love it.
It's not so popular where I grew up. So give us it's a whiskey podcast, but give us a little explanation of Armagnac to those of us less civilized.
Yeah, well, it's a brandy, right? So it's distilled wine,
Okay.
pretty much, and they have their own grape varieties in that region of Armagnac, which is in the southwest of France. And they've been doing it for a very long time. And they used to have movable distilleries. The whole kit, it was a kit that you could move from one place to another. I don't know if it was to escape prohibition. I forgot. But anyway, it was super interesting. And it's not the same concept as whiskey where you have an age statement. They tell you when it was the year it was bottled.
2021.
Yeah, this one was bottled 2021. What you should go by is when the cask was when the cask was filled, and then you do the subtraction between the year it was bottled and the year that the cask was filled, and that's what you go by. And you have some really old ones, and their marketing thing is they sell you the one from your birth year, and people go crazy about that. But I think it's super interesting.
Yeah.
It's very, very flavorful.
I'm getting
and
bombarded by flavor, which is a good thing.
Yeah, and you will get definitely some orange in this one, and spices, cinnamon.
Exactly that. Wow.
After.
I'm struggling to explain because it's my first experience, but you can taste the heat, the strength, but it's that initial burst.
Yeah, so you usually drink it in larger, like cognac glasses, and you want to warm it up, I think, with the palm of your hand, because it's better if it's like body temperature. You don't want to drink it too cold. It's going to open up the flavors more if it's warmer. That's what they taught me when I was
uncivilized Welsh scallywag. But it's definitely warm. It's
It's good, huh?
Yeah. So are we going to use the same glass?
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm going to pour you some Craig 13 years old, finished in Baz Armagnac barrels.
So something about Craig Bayside, they always do the 13-year-old, which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's like it's not 12, it's not 10, it's not 15. They always do 13, which I think is really quirky and fun.
I think this one is 46%, not
46.
the 40 that we.
And the color is nice. Again, it's kind of like golden hue.
There's Q and there's peat. I don't think it's peated.
Okay, so
can we tell that it's been finished? So it's a little bit of time that it's spent in a Armagnac cask, just at the end of its life.
Also, it was in this glass, but
that probably plays a role.
Yeah, I've tried Craig before, tasting review on a sister site, Whiskey and Shadows. This is very different, and this is very, very, very cool.
I like the label as well.
I know it's kind of that typical Craig style with the beautiful Armagnac kind of autograph.
Okay. If you go to the Armagnac region, you eat very well over there. Fantastic. Foie gras and the duck in general.
Have I been there? When you say southwest of France,
north of
cities,
north of Toulouse,
north of Toulouse, no. I've been to south of that Perpignan, which is more like Catalan.
That's too far south.
I love that. That is smooth. And the finish is beautiful.
And the back of your tongue
It
just
just
lingers there.
continues. It continues
Yeah.
forever. Just a smooth velvet.
Yeah. But could you have told, if I hadn't had you drink this first and I had masked the fact that this says it's finished in by Armagnac,
Yeah.
you didn't know what Armagnac tastes like, first of all.
No, but I knew Craigalachy, so I would have known there was something different.
Mhm.
But that is absolutely stunning.
That you like it.
That is up there with Meclator in terms of its smoothness.
Oh, you put it up there with Meclator.
In terms of its accessibility and ease to drink.
That's big coming from you.
Yeah, I mean, Meclator isn't even my favorite whiskey, but I think it's definitely the most accessible and easy to drink. But is this expensive? How does this compare to a standard Craigalachy?
I think it's maybe a slightly more expensive. I think it was like 75.
Okay.
75 euro.
I mean, it's definitely on the good side of for Scotch. Wow.
Might have been 80, but something like around 80.
It just stays forever.
It's still there, yeah. From the
But
previous
the
tip.
smooth velvet.
Nice color.
Wow.
Yellow draw. So
Next episode,
it's going to be about what we're looking for, in our next whiskey acquisition.
So when we go to a whiskey shop or when we look online, what are we looking for in terms of purchasing?
Or do we already have an idea in our head? I'm going to go to the shop and see if they have it. I'm searching for something in particular. Maybe
like my previous trip where I went to get the sherry one, I ended up coming back with something that was actually a lovely surprise.
Borja is good at selling you.
I keep walking into his shop. But okay, so what we look at when we buy whiskey is what we look for.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you. Questions, comments, issues, complaints?
Like, subscribe,
bell, heart. Thank you very much. I'm gonna maybe try that one. See you guys.
Bye.